Welcome to Alpha Wolf Trading. Did you know that there's over 12,000 stocks or companies that trade on the OTC? Between the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, you have over 7,000 companies. But us as retail investors, we wouldn't know that unless we were researching. Because why? Wall Street focuses on the elite, the big companies. And where the retail investor has their advantage is in small and micro-cap stocks. Why? Because you have the opportunity to speak directly with leadership. That is what this is all about here at Alpha Wolf Trading. We're trying to find the hidden gems, and we interview the executive teams of companies that we think meet the parameters to be those hidden gems. I also want to make sure you understand that this is not a paid-for promotion. I collect no compensation for the interviews I do here. These companies that I interview have been identified as potential opportunities for me and the members of Alpha Wolf Trading to receive a higher than average return on our investment. These companies I have identified either because of a technical setup on a chart, a fundamental change within the organization, new management team, new products, all kinds of different things that actually lead me here. But what do I think is the most important? Leadership. And that is why I do these interviews. I want to understand what drives the person that is leading the charge. I want to feel their passion. I want to understand their vision and the strategy that they're going to use to achieve success. That is what these interviews are for. I want to understand the share structure and the cap table, the size of the TAM, the total addressable market. This is the opportunity to learn all of those things. So sit back and enjoy. And if you learn anything from today's interview, do us a favor. Subscribe to the Alpha Wolf Trading YouTube channel. Hey everybody, Tim from Alpha Wolf Trading coming at you with a follow-up interview to one that I did. It was quite a while ago, Trent. Can you remember when I did when we did the first one?
I do not. Markets were better back then. I do know that.
Yeah, the market was better back then, and you were talking about uplisting to the NASDAQ, but you have since done so, and actually you did it, and it appeared at the right time because the stock was holding up really well. But then the weight of the markets themselves, I think, has taken a toll on everybody. You're not the only one, right? So I want to I want to welcome you and thank you for coming on. Trent Mell from Electra Battery Materials, ELBM, the NASDAQ symbol. And even though the stock is now no longer, has succumbed to the overall markets, you've had a hell of a lot of accomplishments, especially in the last year, right?
Yeah, I have. Thank you. And you're right, Tim. When we listed, we had record volumes, multi-year price highs. It felt good, right? We caught that win, but we know what happened last year to the mega caps, right? When they get cut in half, the small caps, micro caps get hit even more. So we're stuck in that. We're also in the middle of development. We're still pre-production, right? We're building, we're in construction, and we're in construction in an inflationary environment. So that's got some people concerned, but you're right. I mean, we put the funding in place. We started construction, equipment deliveries from all over the world. We're caught up in the Inflation Reduction Act and the EV supply chain contract with LG Energy Solution as our biggest client for battery materials. And then just recently, we started a recycling plant. So we got a lot of things going, but we still got some headwinds we got to face over the next few weeks, or probably a couple of months.
So let's talk about it. So you've first of all, let's give everybody just a quick recap of exactly what Electra Battery Materials does.
Yeah, so we are effectively a chemical refiner for the battery supply chain. So if you think of the minerals coming out of the ground, they got to get mined and processed. And at some point, we take that material and you got to refine it into a chemical form that can then go into a battery. So that's where we sit. Our first plant is a cobalt plant north of Toronto, Canada. And then right next to that, we would, phase two, which is kind of underway already, is battery recycling, where you take shredded battery material called black mass and you refine that. Phase three would be nickel and then ultimately manganese. And you try to create a chemical hub to create some efficiencies on capital and operating. And so we're going through the first two phases kind of in tandem to build that out and get the cash flow.
Okay, and how now I did just see you just gave an update on the black mass, right?
Yeah.
Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, that's the newer part of the story, right? We used to be called First Cobalt because that was the first leg of the stool. And as we got moving on these other fronts, changed the name to Electra. When you look at the onshoring of the supply chain, right, away from China or Asia generally into North America, the battery plants, those are the big investments, right? $5 billion type spends. And they need material providers like us, suppliers here on shore. But it's still a couple of years away, whereas recycling is something happening now. We've all got power tools and laptops and cell phones with batteries that can't go into the heat. And moreover, when you look at the way this administration is set up, the vehicle credits for electric vehicles, when it comes to recycling, you can't rely on a free trade partner like the EU or Korea. Recycling has to happen in Canada or the US. It's a North American centric proposition. And that's where we sit in, right? A lot of battery shredders are doing just that. They're collecting batteries, they're shredding it, they make a black powdery substance. But then they can't take it any further. A lot of it goes to Asia, some of it goes to Glencore and their smelter. Nobody's doing what we're doing yet, which is taking that black mass and breaking it down into lithium, cobalt, nickel, copper, manganese, graphite. And so we're the first company to do it on an industrial scale. There are other big names out there, Redwood, Li-Cycle, that are much larger than us that are building out their facilities. But the fact that we are now doing that on a daily basis has kind of set us apart and has got the attention of the market.
I mean, one bigger player, how far are they off from having the ability to?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the elephant in the room would be Li-Cycle, right? They're building a massive complex up in Rochester, and they want to take their products a little bit further downstream than we would. But these, hydromet plants, they do take a while to build. So, if they build out, and I don't recall their schedule, let's say they're built by the end of this year, it does take some time to ramp up these plants and to get them to steady state. So our own plant, our cobalt plant, for instance, we're envisioning taking 9 to 12 months to get it to a full run rate. Whereas with our recycling plant, it's small enough right now that we're running, maybe a ton a day of material, which is not huge, but it's enough to be able to treat OEM material, to give them sample product and to justify an investment into Electra to help us build out a larger scale plant going forward dedicated to them.
Did I see something to the fact that you're already kind of looking at maybe doing a second black mass facility?
Yeah, where we are. So if you look at sort of the infrastructure we have, yes, we've got mineral assets in the state of Idaho, but that's kind of a different kettle of fish. It probably becomes non-core at some point, despite its value. Ontario is our first site where we're going to have cobalt and recycling, and then other commodities thereafter. We were also invited to build a second cobalt plant actually in Bécancour, which is just north of Montreal, so still in Canada. That's where GM and POSCO and BASF and Vale are all building their infrastructure. So we'd be part of that ecosystem. The battery stuff that we're doing, look, I think there's licensing opportunities. Once you've got it figured out, for us, it's really getting the proof of concept and then partnering with the OEMs and the battery makers and using their balance sheet to replicate that on other sites.
Okay. So how are you feeling about the balance sheet right now?
Look, we are delayed on our cobalt project. So we got the inflation bug, frankly, like everybody, right? I haven't seen this since I was a kid. So we slowed the construction. We're continuing to receive supplies, equipment from all over the world, because that was a big bottleneck coming out of COVID. It still is, frankly. And once we got the materials there, we do have to revise our capital number. So we're in the middle of we call it a rebaseline. So we're going to come back to the market with a new capital and schedule for completion of the project. We did pull our numbers back in February, probably 2 weeks away on that, and there'll be a capital shortfall. And so we're talking to the downstream partners. We're in discussions with the DoD. Capital markets aren't really a viable option right now. So that's clearly created an overhang. So all the good news on black mass and recycling is being offset with, what's your strategy on cobalt? And so not much I can say yet. There's a few things in queue, but until we daylight that to the market, I think that's going to be a bit of a drag on the story.
I guess the way I look at it is this: is you've proven the concept. This isn't just a if or a maybe, right? You've proven it.
Yeah.
And there is no question, at least in my mind, that we are going to need black mass recycling. We are going to need that in a big way, right?
Yeah.
One other player isn't going to be sufficient. I mean, you're talking about going to all electric by 2035. There's a hell of an infrastructure to put in place, and I'm pretty sure we don't want to be reliant upon China, who's controlling 85% of the global supply on cobalt and lithium.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, look, and you look at, I think what sets us apart, this is important when you're talking to the small caps, is we're not a concept company. Go to our website, Electra, no, what is it? I can't remember what it is. ElectraBLM.com. I don't know. I should know that, but I don't. Go to our website and look at the infrastructure.
I got it right next to me, man.
Oh, thank you.
Right next to me.
Thanks for covering me, Jim. I appreciate that. I'll know that for the next time. Look, we've got $100 million of investment that we inherited, right? We've got power lines, we got water, we got permits. Permits are huge in this business. We've got a building, we've got an operating lab. I got 31 people around the clock doing battery black mass. So we're not coming to the market with an idea, right? These are hard assets. And right next to that, we've got the cobalt plant that's going up. You can see the pictures of that. And so we're real. And to your point, we're riding a wave. We're facing market turbulence, but the tailwinds are phenomenal. And so, we got to navigate our way through that. But I think, your listeners can take comfort in that this is not some dream with schematics and cartoons on a website. You can go in there and see exactly what we're doing. We've got product we're producing, and we've got real customers. We got customers like Glencore selling us feed material. We've got clients like LG ready to receive our product. And so we'll just keep pushing along here. We'll get rewarded eventually.
Yeah. See, and that's, it's times like this that I think this is, look, is this a rough time? Sure. Is this the end of the world? I don't think so. And if it's not the end of the world, then this is opportunity knocking, right?
Yeah.
So it's for somebody that sees that opportunity, maybe instead, like you said, the capital markets right now, not a viable answer because they're going to screw you. I mean, that's, let's just call a spade, right? That's the deal. You cannot get favorable terms from the capital markets or the financial institutions right now.
Yeah.
Right? Because of the poor investments they've already made. That's part of the problem, right? Poor investments that they've made that now aren't as valuable as they were. Now they've got problems. So look, somebody out there, because I got to tell you, as bad as the economy is supposed to be, we're going into this huge recession. I keep seeing these Ferrari SUVs all around me. I mean, it's like insane how many Ferrari SUVs there are, because these things cost $350,000.
Yeah.
Right? That's the starting number. And I'm seeing an awful lot of them. Unless the guy's changing the paint color on his SUV every day. I mean, there's some money out there. And if somebody gets it and sees this as what it is, which is, I think, a tremendous opportunity of a proven concept that there is going to be a huge need for. What's the TAM? Do you have any kind of a number for the TAM on what it is you're trying to do?
I don't. I mean, it's in the billions, right? I mean, depending how you want to measure it, is it batteries, is it cars? Look, the EV penetration rate is growing at like 26% CAGR over the next 5 years. So a market like that, let me put it in maybe more concrete terms. Our cobalt plant, we plan to produce 5,000 tons of cobalt that are contained in final product at full commissioning, and eventually we go to 6,500 tons. Forget what that means in absolute tons. That's maybe 1.5 million EVs. That doesn't respond to any single major automaker's needs by 2027. If I look at their cobalt, just looking at cobalt, their cobalt projections this year, sure, I could probably serve 3 or 4 of them. 3 years out, we need 100% of your supply, thank you, and maybe more. And so that's the, that's the hockey stick we're looking at. I'm a Canadian, so I got to say hockey stick, but that's that curve we're looking at in terms of, how quickly we got to respond. And these things don't get built overnight. We've been at this for 3 years, and we got a permitted site. Now, if you want to come in with a greenfields, a pasture, and start talking to the community about building a refining asset with tailings and water, and you're going to be waiting a while.
I read here in the United States, and this blew my mind, that the average time from concept to production of a mine, 17 years.
Oh, yeah.
17 years.
Yeah, look, in Canada, which has a long, rich mining culture, we say a Canadian mine is 7 to 10. So in America, yeah, absolutely. We don't, we want our minerals to fall out of the sky, right? That a lot of the funding mechanisms that are out there, it assumes the mines are all the materials are already on surface. So you go figure out how you're going to get it out of the ground. Thank you very much, and then we'll help you move it along. And America's a great. I've operated mines in the U.S. It's a great place, right? It's stable. It's predictable. You got good talent. You've got infrastructure, but permitting, even when you get your permit, you don't know that you're going to keep your permit, because then the NGOs start challenging in court. So it's a hard road.
It is a unbelievably hard road. 17 years, and I'm thinking we're supposed to go all electric by 2035.
Yeah.
How the hell is that going to happen?
Where do you think the bottleneck is?
I mean, we've got mines, we've got the minerals here. I mean, it's not like we can't mine this stuff, but hey, if it takes 17 years to get going, we better be working on that stuff right now, right?
Yeah. We're going to need people like, Mary Barra over my shoulder here, and Jim Farley and Musk. We need advocates like that to be in DC saying we got to build these things faster, right? For the CEO of BHP or Anglo American to be saying we got to build mines, yeah, sure, that's just regular course. But it's the OEMs that have the clout, because they've got all the blue collar union jobs spread all over the country. And
what's scary to me is, and I this was from an oil guy that told me, Tim, it's the permits, and it's the studies that, like he gave me an example of the burrowing beetle that is on the endangered species list.
Yes, yeah.
That I thought he was bullshitting me. I really did. I thought he was lying to me, but I looked it up after our interview, and son of a bitch, if there wasn't a burrowing beetle that was endangered. And this is the really scary part. Yeah. If you read the description of the burrowing beetle, scientists don't actually know where the burrowing beetle lives.
You can prove it's not there.
So how do you prove that you're not disrupting his home?
You find one beetle, you're in trouble.
That's scary, man. Yeah. That is so scary to me.
Oh, right? There's a long list of species at risk, right? That's part of your process. And people that permit, they, you know that. You get into a region, they go, well, here's our area of impact, and here's what might be on the endangered species list. Let's go do a study and check it out. And that's one of 300 things you got to do.
So I would say that you are in good position, right? Because, and somebody I believe has to recognize that. I mean, and hopefully takes advantage, but doesn't take advantage, takes advantage of the opportunity, but not of the company, right? Or its shareholders.
Yeah, look, I'm going back up to the refinery next week for yet another visit from another interested counterparty. I think the recycling piece has woken up a lot of much bigger companies to, hey, how can we work with Electra in one way, shape, or form? And so look, it'll come. It's these are as hard a market as I've seen in a long time. Well, this is for a junior company. This is like the post Lehman days, right? 08. But yeah, we'll get through it. You need a smart team, manage your spend, and bide a little bit of time, and you get through the other side.
Look, I've been saying this for a little bit. I mean, I feel as though we've got to be closer to the bottom than we are to the top, because you got small caps, are the lowest valuation in history, and that's a long time. And I just think about the animal spirits of, I mean, look, unless it's the end of the world, and if it's the end of the world, I guess it doesn't matter because it's the end of the world. So,
Yeah.
but if it's not the end of the world, I have to believe at some point things turn. And when things turn, I think there's going to be a vicious rip your face off rally. I think it's going to be vicious and violent.
Yeah.
And it's because companies have been beaten down that are still here, that are still executing the plan. Yes, maybe there are some. Tell me of anything that ever in life goes 100% smooth. Nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The old expression, the adage, if it was that easy, everybody'd be doing it, I guess. I want to show you something here. So my daughter, because this is apt here. Sports analogies are always great, right?
Yep.
Vince Lombardi. So my daughter's hockey team, they just won the league championship. They went to the provincials. They won a tournament. And I love this little photo of her kind of posing, right, for the camera. Looks fierce. And I want to frame that for her birthday. And up top, I want to quote Lombardi when he said that winners never quit and quitters never win. And that's the market we're in right now, right? And that's my mentality. Is it may be bloody hard, but we will get through it. We got to be smart. And I've had some long freaking days, I tell you. But I still believe in the business. We'll figure this out.
Right. And you know what? I 1000% agree with you. Right. It's just, and there are going to be companies that go away. There's no doubt about it. That probably deserve to go away. And then there's going to be those ones that are executing. I mean, haven't just survived, but have actually thrived, grown their businesses, not, blown up their cap table.
Yep.
Are they experiencing pain? Of course they are. They're not getting rewarded for anything that they've done. At some point, I think that turns. And that's why I say vicious and violent when it does start to snap back. I think there's going to be a lot of wealth created in the next 12 to 24 months. That's
absolutely,
I believe.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
So, I know it's been a while since but I still think this is one of the more exciting stories, especially in the EV space, right? I mean, because there's just not a lot of guys out there doing what you are doing.
I'd love to reconnect with you, Tim, in about 60 days. There'll probably be a lot more I can tell you. We got so many things going on. Let's keep this gap shorter. And
let's do this. Let's look, I wanted to get you back in just to talk about what's happening. I mean, tell me a little bit more about the LG thing.
So yeah, LG, I mean, part of it is just showing the market we can sell our product and sell it to reputable clients. And so with LG, I'd like to think this is phase one of a multi-product relationship, but they are building battery plants across the continent like nobody else. They're the second largest battery maker in the world after CATL, which is Chinese. And they're trying to lock down supplies of nickel and cobalt and lithium for all the batteries they're going to be making. And so they came to us. They want to buy 7,000 tons of cobalt over the next 3 years. Year one's probably going to be shipped offshore to their battery plants elsewhere. But as they build their plants here, they want to have a domestic supply, and we're the only alternative. So for 3 years, we'll sell them our product. They're going to help us a little bit with working capital and logistics. So as we kind of get ourselves going, it really is a partnership. And then look, I would hope that at some point we develop a deeper relationship, which could involve more sort of financing and more products and recycling. But that's TBD.
Right. But it's still a great sign. I mean,
they're a great company. They're a great. Yeah.
Right. All right, Trent, let's do this. I know you've got other stuff going on. Yeah. Thank you for coming in. Let's 60 days, we'll come back, we'll revisit this.
I'd love that. Good? That would be fun. Yeah.
All right, man. All right. We'll talk to you then.
All right. All the best. Appreciate your time. Take care.
You bet.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I hope you enjoyed today's interview with Trent Mell from Electra Battery Materials, ticker symbol ELBM. If you enjoyed today's interview, do us a favor, give us a like. How about giving us a share? And while you're at it, why not give us a follow? Until next time, stay safe. Alpha Wolf Trading wishes you the very best of success.